This is just a basic intro into using the program Rhino. We'll start off with a basic navigation. When you open up this file, it should open up in perspective view. And to navigate in perspective mode, here's I'll zoom in over here, some basic shortcuts. You can use, like if you're in the standard tab, here's the hand tool and the rotate tool. But I'm just going to be using the keyboard shortcuts. So to orbit, it's the right mouse button. So again, I'm just clicking the right mouse button, I'm orbiting around. If I want to have the hand tool show up, if I click Shift plus the right mouse button, I get the hand tool. And to zoom in and out on my mouse, it's just the scroll wheel. If I'm in my my other views, my other 4 views, I'm going to click on this button up here, there's 4 viewports. So I should have my top view, my front, right, and perspective. Zoom works the same way. I can just use my scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And it's the same in my orthogonal views or my right, front, and top view. To get the pan tool or the hand tool, I just have to right click. And the same works in my other views. I'm going to double click on the word perspective to maximize that view, or I can double click again and it goes back to my 4 views. Another thing just to show is different types of selection. If I have this object over here off to the side, if I select one object and I want to select multiple objects, as soon as I click on another one, it deselects the first object that I have selected. So one way that you can start to select objects in Rhino is to add to your selection. You can hold down the Shift key plus the left mouse button. So if I come over here, I click my first object, and I hold down the Shift key, I can start to add to my selection. If I've accidentally clicked on the wrong object, to subtract from your selection, it's the Control plus the left mouse button. So I'm just holding down the Control key and using the left mouse button. The difference between a dashed line and a solid line when you're selecting something. So if I'm going to just, with my left mouse button, I'm going to click, and if I move my mouse to the left, I see that it's a dashed line, and if I move it to the right, it's a solid line. So the difference between the two is if I select something where I see the dashed line, I only have to select part of that object, and it will automatically select it. If I select something where it's where it's a solid line, if I only select part of an object, it won't select it. If I see the dashed line or the solid line, I have to select the entire object in order for it to select the object. It's really useful when you're making quick selections, but just to know the difference between the dashed line and the solid line. The other thing just to explain is a selection window. So in this case, I'm going to ask you to pick in a very specific area on this model, and it's this area right here. These objects just happen to be touching each other. So if I just do a single click, I get a selection window that pops up. And essentially what it's telling me is I've clicked in an area where there's multiple objects and it does not know which one I want to select. So it's giving me the option. So you select the one that you want and you continue working. There's this area that also has the same situation where if you click right there, it's an area where the 2 objects touch. And again, it does not know which one you want, so it gives you the option. Just the last thing for the basic introduction. Right now when we open this model up, we were in a shaded mode. So if I right click on the word perspective, it's highlighted for shaded. I could also go into a wireframe mode or ghosted mode, rendered mode, and I can go back to shaded. And this is also true. This also works in your other views. So by default, these are all set up in wireframe. I can also put these in different modes as well.